Yo, what's poppin', Bagel Bros, and welcome back to another Patreon rant. If you want one of these for yourself, be sure to give me $10 a month on Patreon. Also, this batch of rants is a day late, but because you're all such nice people, you're not gonna mention it. You're not gonna say anything about it, all right? I'm getting to them. Anyway, today's rant comes from Issy Boy, who says, "Hoi Crunchy, big fan of HTR. Could you rant about the current state of the anime community and if it's in a healthy or worse state?" Now, my main exposure to the anime community, I used to do, a bit of discourse on AniList when I was a teenager, but most of my interactions with the anime community have been focused on AniTube, through AniTube. I have, seen these sorts of discussions. And so I'm really just going to be complaining about AniTube this whole time. AniTube is, I've said many a times, my dead AniTube theory, which is that all the major players in AniTube have already been cemented, and it is a near impossible niche to break into in terms of algorithmic success. And you're better off doing literally anything else, as proven by me switching to internet documentaries and immediately hitting it off in a big way. And it's because of the viewing habits of anime fans. The viewing habits of anime fans in regards to YouTube are really frustrating. So first of all, anime is very in the moment. It's very current in a way that few other mediums are. So in anime, things tend to come out in seasons. So you have the spring season, fall season, summer, winter, and all the shows start airing at roughly within the same half a month span. So, you start in January and then it goes to, lasts 3 months, starts in April again. And it's very rare to see a show actually break from that tradition. And because of that, seasonal anime has conditioned people to view anime very topically. So when a show is airing, it's relevant, and when it's not, nobody gives a fuck. Now, to be fair, every niche is kind of like this. When a new Disney movie is out, Shafrillis covers it. And if he covered it later, it wouldn't get as much traction per se if it was just a standard review. But I think anime has it especially bad because with movies, there are the greats that, you can always come back to. And I mean, anime also has those, but it seems like movies stay relevant for longer. People are willing to watch a review of them, later on because cinephiles, they tend to latch on to movies more, I feel, than the average seasonal anime watcher who really just watches whatever is airing and then nothing else. There are some people who consume anime purely like that. And so my main issue with AniTube is that the only way you can consistently get views is by covering what is literally airing right now, as it's airing. You cannot wait for a show to finish. You cannot give a complete review of a show. It has to be when it's airing, typically around episode 10, I've found is the sweet spot. And it has to be the exact right show. And, by gaming the algorithm that way, it's just not fun. I don't want to, I never went into AniTube to do that. The videos I'm proudest of in my anime days are the Zaregoto videos, which are about fucking books. Those are my favorite videos I made. None of my favorite videos were the seasonal ones. I recently rewatched the Onimai video and I thought it was, pretty good overall, but it's never going to reach that same level as something like the V3 video, which I, to this day, think is a masterpiece. Unfortunately, nobody will see it because it's good, but it's about a book that nobody really cares about, and it's 3 books deep at that. And so it relies on prior knowledge of the first 2 books, and it's like nobody cares at that point. And so it's very hard to make it in AniTube. But going back to the community at large, I've seen it get worse. I've seen it get worse the longer it goes on and the more distance I put between myself and it. So when I got into anime, there was a big push for like, anime is trash and so am I. You know, we watch the degenerate shows and we laugh at them and we know that they're, you know, kind of poorly written and shit, but we, you know, enjoy them nonetheless. There was a big cultural push for that. And I kind of miss those days. You know, I know that it's kind of cringe in certain regards. Oh, look at how spicy fucking domestic girlfriend is. But like, there was a certain charm to it. It was fun. But since then, we've had things like the localizer debates, which have now been dubbed lolcalizers, which is admittedly a pretty clever turn of phrase. However, their argumentation tends to be pretty flawed, where they tend to take extremely specific examples of bad over-localization and broaden that out to like the entire anime industry in a way that I feel is unfair, even though like most localization is fine. There is some amount of it that is absolutely necessary for a book to even be I said book because I've been reading Katanagatari lately, and that book has a very thorough translation with translation notes in the pages, and like it goes, you know, those translation notes show like, here's stuff that is localized, but also it'll show like the original, you know, Japanese phrase. And whenever you look at the original Japanese phrase, it's immediately evident why it was localized, because it just wouldn't make sense. I mean, sometimes it localizes in a way where like the original Japanese phrase, while not a turn of phrase in English, is at least easily parsable, and in those instances a part of me does wish that they let it be, because I you know, sometimes read them and am like, you know, I would have understood that would have been fine, but you know, whatever, like it makes sense why these changes are made, and I don't think they're a bad thing. And also, never show these people GG fan subs. Holy fuck. But another thread of discourse that has really exhausted me lately is the tourist debate. Oh, you're a tourist. You don't... Look, everyone is a fucking tourist, all right? Nobody in this community is Japanese. Nobody actually gives a shit about Japanese culture. And the people who actually do aren't calling people tourists. Everyone who has ever said the word tourist is someone who's probably like 15 and has seen like 20 anime. And all of them have lollies in it. And that's why they're able to say the word tourist. That's why they spam it constantly. It's so frustrating. Like, the word tourist just doesn't mean anything at this point, and it was never a good insult. There are some people who it does genuinely actually mean something to call. Like, there are people who don't appreciate anime as a medium and do demand it change in unfair ways, but those people aren't as common as the phrase itself. I feel like it's over-spammed, and it's annoying, and basically stay off of Annie Twitter. I used to be kind of an Annie Twitter boy. I used to be on there frequently, but over time, I've stopped going on Twitter at all. There were some very interesting old Twitter controversies I remember from Annie Twitter that are very funny to think back on, but that's a bit beside the point. This rant has been going on long enough, so yeah, that's about it. See ya.